Welcome, Okra family, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Brooke, and I'm here with Rebecca and Lexi. Many of you are familiar with us, and those of you who are not, we're excited to share this practice of yoga with you today. Currently, of course, we are in this state of chaos, a little bit of confusion. We're feeling fearful, we're feeling anxious, maybe even angry. And while it's important to feel everything that we're feeling, it's that much more important to find the practices that bring us back to ourselves, that remind us that we have this innate wellness that's always available to us. So we want to come back into our bodies, come back into our hearts, and really practice surrender and trust through this process. So we're going to move through a Chillax practice. It's one of Okra's signature classes. It'll be a good mixture of slow flow and deep stretch. So please feel free to grab your props and to hit pause if you need a few moments. We'll use blocks, bolsters, blankets as needed. And I hope you really enjoy this practice.
All right, please come to a comfortable seat. Find a tall spine. Close your eyes. Draw your shoulders up, back and down, and rest your palms comfortably on your knees or thighs. Up or down is up to you. And we'll take a couple of cleansing breaths. Inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, empty the lungs. One more time. Big breath in. Pause at the top. When you think you're full, and take in one more little sip of air. And then open the mouth, release. Good, then close the mouth and just start to tune into your breath. Slowing down your inhales. Drawing out your exhales. If you're familiar with Ujjayi breath, you can find a slight constriction at the back of the throat, listening to the sound of the breath, and just let that sound help to quiet the mind, noticing more spaciousness between the thoughts that seem to constantly be going. And just try to release any thoughts, any feelings, any emotions that you don't need here for this time on your mat. But just allowing yourself to spend this hour or so moving and breathing and creating a little bit more space. Space in your body, your mind, your heart, and your soul. Space for stepping up into your higher self. Space for surrendering. Space for trusting. And if there is any other particular intention you would like to connect with, feel free to set that intention in your own mind. And throughout the practice, return to this intention. Come back to it often, repeat it, visualize it, embody it in your poses, whatever that looks like or feels like to you. Because the more you connect with it, the more that intention will grow throughout all of the space that you'll create. Let's again take a cleansing inhale through the nose, open the mouth, empty the lungs. Good, then allow your eyes to float open and place your palms on your knees down if they were not already, and just start to find some circular movements in one direction. It doesn't matter which direction you go. You can make the circles as big, as juicy as you like, as slow as you wish, maybe even getting the head and the neck involved. Just let it feel good. Remembering that the body is always in the present moment. The breath is always in the present moment. So when we're able to connect to our bodies and our breaths, it helps us from being in our minds too much, from being anxious and fearful and regretful and all of the things that aren't in the present moment. Take one more circle in this direction. And when you're complete, just find a nice long, tall spine. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. And exhale, bend to the right for a side body stretch. So right hand to the floor block, left arm reaches bicep by the ear. Relax the left shoulder down the back and use your right palm rooting down into the earth to help send the left hip back towards the floor. One more breath. Good. Then inhale, rise, and find a twist to your left. So take your right hand to the left knee, left arm behind the back. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, twist. So really use the left arm behind you to lift the lumbar spine, the low back up and out of the hips. One more time, lengthen taller and twist deeper. Good, then release your twist and walk the hands forward, folding over the legs. Relax the head and the neck. Your head can hang, or you could always place support underneath. And then as if you could, one vertebrae at a time, slowly rise up to seated, drawing the shoulders above the hips. Head comes up very last. Good, and then when you get there, switch the cross of your legs, bringing the opposite foot in front of or on top of the other. And then start to move your body circularly in the opposite way. So if you went clockwise, go counterclockwise, and vice versa. Good, make one more circle in this direction. When you're complete, just return to a long, tall spine. Inhale, reach the arms overhead, and exhale, bend to the left. Left hand down, right arm reaches. Relax the right shoulder down the back, and consider rolling your left rib cage slightly up, your heart up. Full breaths in through the nose and full breaths out through the nose. Inhale, rise, and exhale one more time. Fold forward over the legs, releasing any tension in the head and neck. Perhaps rooting the palms a little bit towards the floor in front of you to send the hips back behind you. Good, then draw the body up nice and slow. And make your way to tabletop pose, hands and knees position. So stacking the shoulders directly above the elbows and wrists, fingers spread really wide, hips are right above the knees. And we'll find some cats and cows. So as you inhale for cow, drop the belly, arch the back, lift the heart, gaze, and tailbone up, and reverse it on your exhale, round the spine, push the floor away, chin to chest, gazing back at your thighs or belly, and then just follow your breaths. Full inhale to the top of the back bend, full exhale to round over. And feel free to stay on this linear cat-cow plane, or if you'd like to move in any other intuitive, organic way, feel free to just follow your breath, maybe peeking over the shoulders towards the hips or creating any circular movements here. And any constriction you might notice in the body, any kinks from the day behind you or the life behind you, direct your breath into those places. Make sure if you do something to one side, you repeat to the other, taking about 2 more full inhales and exhales. And when you're balanced, when you're complete, just return to a neutral tabletop pose. With a long spine, navel to spine, extend the right leg behind you and flex the foot. So you could imagine that you're pressing your foot flat against the wall behind you and try to drop the right hip down in line with the left. Take an inhale here, and as you exhale, round nose to knee, really curl the spine like that cat pose and push the floor away and hold for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, extend the right leg back out. As you exhale, bend the knee and look up, toes towards your head. So if you could create a circle on top, then follow your breath. Inhale, lengthen, extend. Exhale, round, knee to nose, curl the spine, circle on the bottom. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, circle on top, bend the knee, look up. Well, you're following your own breath a couple more times then. And we'll all meet with the knee bent, foot towards your head, pausing there with the option to find a diagonal bow. So if you'd like, left hand reaches back for the right foot, or you could certainly keep both hands grounded. If you're making the connection, kick the heel away from the hip for 3, 2, and then with control, reach arm and leg apart for modified side plank. So lower the left hand down and turn the right foot flat. Right arm reaches up and overhead, bicep by the ear. Stretching the entire length of your right side body. Really roll your heart up. Good, then release back through tabletop pose, preparing for a table twist. So take your left arm out to the left and then sweep it through to the right side. Lower the left shoulder down, left side of the head follows, and then right arm stretches towards the top of the mat or beyond. If you'd like to deepen the twist, you can walk the right hand more to the left side. If you need a modification, you can certainly keep the right hand back under the shoulder, closer to your body. You're eventually peeking up and under the right shoulder. Good, then slide the right hand back, supporting the left arm out. Returning to hands and knees, tabletop pose. And when you get there, tuck your toes under to add a toe stretch and flip your hands around to add a forearm and wrist stretch. And then find some more intuitive movement here. Cats and cows, or you can shift forwards and backwards to deepen the opening in your forearms, wrists, and toes. So whatever you need, right? You're intuitively connected to the intelligence of your own body. So listen to where it wants to go. And again, take 2 more inhales and exhales to balance out each side of the body. And we'll meet back in a neutral table position. Good. This time extending the left leg behind you, flex the foot and press through the heel. So this will be on the inhales. Take an inhale here and then exhale round, knee to nose, and hold this first one. Really push the floor away, lift the navel to the spine, strengthening the core. Good. Then inhale, straighten out the left leg. Exhale, bend the knee, look up, toes towards your head, circle on top. Good, inhale, lengthen, extend. Exhale, round, nose to knee. Inhale, reach. Bend the knee, look up, exhale. Good, one more time, reach out long. Exhale, round, lengthen. Bend the knee, look up and hold. Option is to reach back for your diagonal bow, right hand to left foot. Once the connection's made, if you're going for it, kick the heel from the hip. Find one point of focus with your eyes. It will really help steady the pose. And then with control, extend the arm and leg apart. Modified side plank, Vashisthasana. Right hand down, left hand flat. Left arm reaches up and over. Relax the left shoulder down the back and roll the heart up. One more breath. Then return to hands and knees, tabletop pose, preparing for your twist. Right arm reaches out to the right and then sweeps through to the left. Left arm can stretch overhead, maybe walking a little bit more to the right side if you'd like to deepen your twist. Then return the left hand back, supporting the right arm out. Palm the mat Tuck the toes and lift the hips, making your way into downward facing dog. It's an upside down V shape with your body. Hands are about shoulders width apart, fingers spread really wide, feet about hips distance width apart or so. And then just spend a few moments here walking out the dog, finding any intuitive movement, pedaling out the legs, rising to the toes, dropping the heels, side to side. Again, anything at all that feels good. And we'll meet in a still downward facing dog. Let the head be heavy, keeping your gaze back towards your own body, or maybe closing the eyes. Lift your right leg high to the sky, straight leg in the air. Lower the left heel down oppositionally. Left shoulder lifts slightly up to square off. Take one more inhale, and then step the right foot forward in between the hands. And let the left foot follow to the top of the mat. When you get there, lift up halfway and pause in your first halfway lift, gently pressing against the thighs, shins, or even the blocks or floor. Feel the crown of the head lengthening forward, shoulders draw down the back. Take one more inhale, then exhale, forward fold. Soften the knees, let your head and neck go. We'll do that twice more with the breath. Inhale, halfway, reach out long. Exhale, fold again. One more time, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold and hold it here. So separate the feet a little bit wider. You can take an elbow in each hand, just hanging like a rag doll. Or if there's any other arms you'd like, feel free. You can leave the arms dangling. You could interlace the hands behind the back and reach the arms overhead. Make sure your core is engaged. You're drawing the navel towards the spine. And take this opportunity to reconnect with what you're practicing for today, whether that's surrender, whether that's deep trust, or something else. Bring it back into your field of awareness. And take 2 more breaths in your forward fold. And release your arms if they're bound. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. And rise on up, ground down, reach up, palms touch overhead. And exhale, forward fold. We'll move through a couple of half sun salutations, following your breath. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. And rise, ground down, reach up, and move through 2 more of these on your own. Let the breath lead the dance with your body. We'll meet back in a forward fold. Then palm the mat and step back into high plank pose, top of a push-up. The shoulders are stacked right above the elbows and wrists. You can stay on the toes, or you may always drop to the knees for the modification. And then just as slowly as you can, squeeze the elbows in as you lower all the way to the mat. When you release to the floor, untuck the toes and prop up onto your forearms for a Sphinx pose. Take the legs nice and wide apart. Give your low back plenty of room here. And we'll find this Sphinx pose passively or yin style. So once you're propped up, release the effort. Allow the shoulders to shrug up towards your ears. Let your head drop forward. So there's no effort being used here. The arm bones are propped up in the shoulder sockets like little kickstands to hold you up, but everything else is passive. If you need a little bit more room for the low back, you can take your legs wider apart. If you wanted to explore a little deeper opening, you can bring the feet closer together. Then take your right ear to your right shoulder, gently stretching the left side of the neck and throat. And return the chin to the chest, switching sides, left ear to shoulder, breathing into the right side. And return chin to chest. Just as slowly as you can, circle your head to the right and all the way around, opening up the front of the throat, over to the left and back to center. And when you get there, take your nice slow circle to the left. When you are complete, pause, preparing to find an active variation of Shalamba Bhujangasana or Sphinx pose. You can keep the legs where they are. If you like to bring the feet a little closer together, you're welcome to. Then starting at the feet, really root the tops of the feet down, engage your legs. You might even feel the kneecaps lift as you draw the whole heart forward, pull the shoulders down the back. So it's still a gentle back bend, but just much more active. One more breath. Then lower down and make your way into child's pose. Balasana, toes together, knees nice and wide apart. Allow your forehead, your third eye space, to rest fully onto the mat. You can always explore other options in child's pose if you'd like to bring your knees closer together or relax the arms down by your side. But this is your resting pose, and it's available to you anytime you need a moment to yourself to reset. Find this shape anytime. And tuck the toes and lift the hips, making your way back into downward facing dog. Left leg lifts straight up. Lower the right heel down and lift the right shoulder ever so slightly up. Take one more in breath and then step the left foot forward in between the hands. Let the right foot follow. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold and rise. Ground down, reach up. At the top, right hand grabs a hold of the left wrist for standing half moon. Inhale, lengthen taller, and exhale, bend to the right. Gently pull on the left arm and let the left hip bow out. Keep a little bit of space at the throat. Inhale, rise up through center and switch your grip. Left hand to right wrist, lengthen taller and bend to the left. Really root through the outer blade and inner arch of your right foot for stability, and maybe consider drawing slightly left shoulder forward, right shoulder back. Inhale, rise. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway. Take a deep bend in the right knee and plant the right hand on the floor or block just in front of the foot, and peel the left arm up for a twist. It can be left hand to the hip, or you can float the left arm up. Wherever you are, really feel a little bit more body weight shifting into the right arm and the tops of your feet as the crown reaches forward, tailbone back, and forward fold, let it go. Inhale, lift up halfway. And we'll switch sides. Take a deep bend in the left knee. Left hand grounds, right arm lifts as you twist to the right. And release, forward fold. Separate your feet about 2 fists width apart for Padangustasana, big toe pose. So hook your big toes with your first 2 fingers. The inner wrists and palms face each other. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, bend the elbows and pull your upper body towards your legs. Let your head and neck be heavy. Press the big toes back into the fingers, back into the floor so there's no space there. One more inhale and exhale to deepen. Then release your grip, palm the mat and step back into high plank, Kumbhakasana, again on the toes or the knees. This time, try to have your belly be the last thing that touches the mat, and that might mean you drop to the knees. Squeeze the elbows in towards your ribs as you slowly lower all the way down. Preparing for locust or shalabhasana, reach the arms behind you and interlace the fingertips. Draw the shoulders down the back. And remember, if you need a little bit more room, you can take the legs wider apart. Hands can stay resting on the hips, or if you have some room, you can float the arms up. Then inhale, chest lifts, legs lift, point the toes, and breathe. Back of the neck is long, no need to strain the head and neck. For 3, 2, and release. Rest on your right ear and let your arms go. Find some big belly breath to soften the back side of the body, or if you'd like, you can shake your hips a little side to side or even windshield wiper the legs. Good. Bring your gaze forward and we'll repeat Shalabhasana, but bring the opposite thumb on top. It will feel a little funky, the unnatural grip, as we strive for some balance here. Then as you're ready, inhale, lift the chest, legs, point the toes, really feel your pubic bone rooting into the mat, strengthening all the muscles along the back. For 3, breathe. 2, and release. Left ear to the mat, let your arms relax. Come back to your personal intention. Come back to what you're practicing for, what you're honoring within, what you're strengthening about yourself. And then press yourself back into a quick child's pose just to reset the spine. And then make your way back into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Come high up onto the toes, take a deep bend in both knees, look at the top of the mat, and then make your way there. You can step, you can hop, you can jump. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, forward fold, and rise to stand. Press down, reach up. Bring your hands to your heart. Bring your big toes to touch. Preparing for Utkatasana. Take a deep bend in the knees as if you're sitting back in a chair and sweep the arms up. Arms in a V shape, palms facing towards each other, or maybe the hands come closer together if you have that room in your shoulders. Allow the weight to come more back towards your heels. Maybe float the toes. Take 2 more breaths, squeezing the legs. Then on your next inhale, stand up, reach up, open up where you were hinged, and exhale, forward fold. This time finding Padahastasana, so separate your feet again about 2 fist width apart. Slide the palms underneath the feet, working your toes towards your wrist creases. You could also use blocks. If the hands didn't quite go underneath your feet, that's not accessible. You can do the same thing, placing the backs of the hands on the blocks to get that flexion in your wrist. Let your head and neck be heavy. 1 more breath. Good, then release. Palm the mat and step the left foot to the back of the mat, finding a low lunge. Lower the left knee down and make sure you untuck the left toes. Your right heel is flat, and if it's not, you can draw it a little bit more forward towards the top of the mat. Hands on the floor are blocks. And we're going to flow a little bit, and it's great that Rebecca's using her blocks. So you can see, you can flow with the blocks if you'd like. We're gonna move through a low lunge, half split flow. So it's right here on the inhale, low lunge, heart lifts, sink down. On the exhale, shift back, flex the toes, folding forward for half split pose. Again, inhale, low lunge, drop the hips, lift the heart. Exhale, shift back, flex and fold. Twice more. Full breath in, full breath out. One more time. Then when you come into your last half split, hold it there. And just take a moment here. You want to be sure to keep the left hip, the back hip stacked above the knee. So that might mean you slide your front foot a little bit more forward. Ideally, there's more weight working forward into your arms and the front leg than shifting back. Check in with the head and neck, fully release there, let it go. When we learn how to release extra stress and tension that we're unnecessarily creating for ourselves on our yoga mats, it's a beautiful tool that we can carry out with us into our daily lives. And keeping the legs just as they are, lift up halfway for a twist. So left hand stays grounded on the floor, maybe a block. Peel the right arm up for a twist. You could place your right hand on your hip or arm all the way up. Keep squeezing the thighs together and drawing your right hip back in line with the left. Good. Lower the right hand down and shift forward through a low lunge, preparing for grounded warrior 3. So tuck the toes and lift the left kneecap off the floor. Place the hands on the floor blocks just a couple inches beyond the right foot. Shift the weight forward. Left leg lifts up halfway. Left heel in line with the hip, flex the foot. And then to go deeper, you can walk the hands closer to the right foot. It's an option to wrap the hand behind the ankle. Imagine that you're pressing your left foot firmly against the wall behind you. One more breath. And just as lightly as you can, step the left foot back and walk the hands quarter turn to the left, facing the side of your mat. Bring your hands to your hips and come all the way up to standing. Good. Draw your heels in, toes out, slightly for a horse stance here. Take a deep bend in the knees and place your palms to your thighs. Let the shoulders shrug up towards your ears for just a couple of breaths so that you're letting the pressure come out of the legs as you just find a little movement side to side, maybe dipping one shoulder forward, the other shoulder back. Good. Then return to center and really be mindful when you release the palms off the legs to keep the legs working to rotate externally so that the thighs are moving away from center. Reach the arms out, interlace all 10 fingers except for your pointer fingers out in front of you for Buddhist Stupa. That's it. So pointer fingers extend, palms press, and then reach the arms up. Arms extend towards the ceiling. Relax the shoulders down the back. You can gaze up towards your palms. You're creating a stupa or a temple with your hands and that whole, the temple with your whole body shape as well. One more breath in and out. Then on your next inhale, stand up, straighten the legs, hands to your hips, turn all 10 toes forward, lift your heart, inhale, then hinge and forward fold. As you exhale, release the arms down. Then walk both hands over to your left leg. So both hands connect to the left shin, maybe ankle or foot. Inhale and exhale, pull. Pull your upper body towards the leg. And then switch your sides, both hands to your right leg. Make a connection. Inhale and exhale, pull. Allow the inhales to help you become more expansive, more spacious. And let the exhales really help you to soften and surrender into that space. Then release and hook your big toes once again symmetrically with both hands with your peace sign fingers. Inhale and exhale, pull, bend the elbows. If it's not accessible to hook your big toes in this wide stance, you may grab your shins or your ankles just the same. One more inhale and exhale to deepen. Good, then release your grip. Pivot 1/4 turn to the right, top of the mat, and step your left foot forward to meet the right foot. Lift up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. And rise to stand. Press down, reach up. Hands to heart center. Preparing for tree pose or vrikshasana. Place the weight into the left leg and pick up the right foot. Right foot could come towards your ankle, your calf, or your thigh. Just avoid pressing onto your knee joint if at all possible. And then once you're firmly rooted, try to keep your hips square, a neutral pelvis. You can find any expression with your arms. Hands can stay at heart center. You can bring the prayer overhead. You can open the arms up. You can make something up. There's no wrong or right way to express yourself. You can be a swaying tree, right? It's good for trees to sway. We don't want to be so strong that we are just brittle and we break, right? Good. Then release. Equal standing on your 2 feet, hands to the heart. Deep breath in. Open the mouth. Let it go. Good. Inhale. Reach the arms up. Exhale. Forward fold. Step the right foot to the back of the mat, finding your low lunge. Lower the right knee down and untuck the toes. Grab your blocks if they're helpful, and also you could pad the back knee. If you have a thin mat, you can always use a blanket under there for support, or roll up your mat. And we'll flow with the breath like we did before. Inhale, low lunge, drop the hips, lift the heart. Exhale, shift back, flex the toes and fold. Again, inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half split. Twice more. When you return to your last half split, hold it there, Ardha Hanumanasana. You may slide this time the left foot a little bit further forward if that helps to keep the right hip above the knee. Release fully through the head and neck. Let that tension go. Then lift up halfway for a twist. Right hand stays grounded on the floor block. Peel the left arm up, hand to the hip, or arm reaches up, palm to the left. You can gaze forward or up towards your lifted thumb. Good. Lower the left hand down and shift forward through your lunge. Tuck the back toes under, propping up, preparing for grounded warrior 3. Shift the weight forward. Right leg lifts up halfway. Flex the foot, press through the heel. Maybe walk the hands closer if you'd like a deeper forward fold. Left hand can wrap behind the ankle. And then lightly, right foot steps back. Pivot 1/4 turn to the right. Finding Malasana. So toe heel the feet a little closer together. And find a squat by bending the knees. Hands to heart center, elbows to knee thigh creases. Of course, you could sit on a prop here, your bolster or block if you need that modification, or you could even lift your hips a little bit from the floor and take forearms to thighs. There's the forearms. One more full inhale and exhale, breathing into those hips. And release, hands down, hips up, forward fold. Toe heel the feet further apart now, coming into a traditional wide-legged forward fold. Lift up halfway. Plant the left hand underneath the face, and right arm lifts for a twist. Hand to the hip or float the arm up. Shift a little bit more weight out into the left arm and your toes as the crown and tailbone lengthen apart. And release, switching sides. Lift up halfway, right hand grounds, left arm lifts. Repeat your arm variation. Good. Lower the left hand down, turning back to the left top of the mat, and step the right foot forward to meet the left. Lift up halfway. Exhale, fold, and come all the way up. Press down, reach up. Hands to heart center. Finding your tree pose, this time with the weight in the right leg, planting the left foot, maybe to the same place you did on the first side if that is accessible for your body, but just honoring whatever it is that you need. Encouraging your left leg to open up to the side laterally, and you can repeat your arms or get creative and do something different if you'd like. Rooting down into Mama Earth, drawing that energy up for stability so that you can reach to the stars. And release. Equal standing, hands to the heart. Take a cleansing in through the nose, breath out through the mouth. Good. Then inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Toe heel your feet together, finding a squat, one more squat, a balancing toe squat. So come high up onto the tippy toes and drop into the hips. So you can come all the way down, hips to heels eventually. Squeeze the knees, squeeze the thighs. If you need, hands can stay on the floor or blocks, or maybe hands to heart center. Eventually, shoulders above hips, hips rest on heels, and over time, the knees will start to come a little more forward and parallel to the floor. And then just as slowly as you can, drop the knees down, finding a toe stretch. So place the palms on your thighs, close your eyes, just a couple of breaths, breathing into the toes, breathing into the balls of your feet. Good, and release. Have a seat, preparing for a collarbone stretch. So place the feet to the floor, palms next to the hips, fingers facing forward. So you might even walk the feet and hips a couple more inches forward. Bend your elbows back. Squeeze your elbows in towards each other, keeping them bent and squeezing in. Lift the chest, stretching across shoulder to shoulder. Good, then release. Draw the body up. Extend the legs straight out in front of you. And then reach the arms out in front. And slowly, as if you could lower one vertebra at a time, lower all the way down to the mat. Good. Preparing for some bridge push-ups or a bridge flow. So plant the feet to the floor. Arms rest down alongside the body. And in a moment, we'll flow, lifting the hips up and down. And you can choose to keep the arms grounded, or you can add the arms in the flow if you'd like. Why don't, Rebecca, you keep your arms down, and Lexi, you do the arms with the flow just so they can see it both ways. All right, let's again take a cleansing inhale, open the mouth, exhale, using your leg strength. Inhale, lift the hips straight up. Exhale, lower and tap. Again, inhale, hips high. Exhale, lower, and just follow your own breaths a couple more times. Good. The next time you come up into your bridge pose, hold it there. So you can shimmy the shoulders a little closer underneath the body, clasping the hands, and really focus on the strength of the legs, pressing down to lift up. Feel your pubic bone reaching towards your navel. Feel your heart lifting towards your chin, but the chin moving gently away from the chest. So there's some space at your throat. And then as if you could, one vertebra at a time, slowly lower all the way down to the floor. Finding Supta Baddha Konasana, bringing the soles of the feet together, knees apart. You can reach the arms overhead for length. You could place your palms on your thighs to find more opening. Or you could place one hand on your solar plexus and one hand on your heart center. Your third and fourth chakras, Manipura and Anahata. Feeling your strength, your power, as well as your compassion, your love, your empathy. Bring your intention back into your mind. Visualize it. Feel it, filling up all the space you're creating today. Take a cleansing breath. Inhale. Open the mouth. Exhale. Then take a nice big stretch. Reach the arms. Point the toes. And hug the knees into the chest, giving yourself a little squeeze. Rock back up to seated position, preparing for half heroes pose. So you can support with your bolster behind you. Maybe your bolster on an incline with a block or two if you like. And extend the right leg forward and bend your left knee inward towards midline. If that's not accessible right away, you can also sit up on your prop and then lean back, resting fully on your bolster or block. If this is tricky at all for your left knee joint, you certainly don't want to force anything. You can always stay upright and lean back on your palms. Or if you have the space, you can also lay all the way down on your shoulder blades, which will be just a little bit deeper. Make sure you're releasing all the effort here. And take a cleansing breath. Inhale. Open the mouth. Exhale. And gently draw the body up. Taking your time, going slow, using your hands to support your way forward into a sleeping swan. So you can bring your right shin bone across the top of the mat at a 90-degree angle bend. Feel free to draw the left leg a little more back. It does not have to be straight. You do not need to have square hips for this shape. And lean forward, resting fully over your front leg. Let your head be supported. If it doesn't come to the floor easily, then place the block or bolster under your forehead, or even slide your arms under there. Inhale and exhale. And slowly rise up. Bring your left leg up, over, and around the right for a seated spinal twist, Ardha Matsyendrasana. So sit up nice and tall. Hug your left leg with your right arm. Left arm comes behind the back. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, twist. Let the heart lead. Let the head follow. Good. Release your twist and extend the legs out in front of you. Finding Paschimottanasana, so both legs parallel. You can rock the hip flesh out from underneath you to get grounded in your sitting bones. Sit up nice and tall and reach your arms out as you lengthen, hinge, and fold, connecting your hands to your toes, to your feet, to your ankles, whatever you can get a hold of. If you prefer to be more passive, like Lexi, you can release the arms. You can choose how active or passive you'd like to be. A couple more breaths. Slowly rise up, preparing for Ardha Virasana or half hero's pose, this time with the left leg extended straight. Internally rotate the right leg, bending the knee in towards midline. Maybe sitting on a prop if that's supportive for you, or maybe leaning back on your prop, bolster, blocks, or all the way on the floor. And again, if you need to stay upright, feel free to do just that. Sides can be different here, so just notice what is without any judgment. This yoga practice is a beautiful opportunity for us to step out of our heads and just witness what is. Seeing what is and finding contentment, finding peace with what we find, moment to moment, breath to breath. Deep breath in, exhale, release. And then take your time supporting your way up and forward into your swan pose. Left shin bone comes across the top of the mat parallel. What's most important is to keep your left hip grounded. You can draw the right leg back a little or a lot, and then lean forward, resting your head fully. Cleansing breath, inhale, open the mouth, exhale. And slowly support your way up. If you need to, you can draw the left heel in a little closer to your hips as you bring the right leg up, over, and around. Sit up tall, hug the right leg with your left arm. Right arm comes behind your back. Lengthen, inhale, and twist, exhale. Release your twist. One more time, extend both legs straight out in front of you. And just as slowly as you can, lower all the way back to the floor. Finding a happy baby. So bend your knees, flex the feet up to the sky, grabbing the outer blades of your 2 feet, knees wider than the ribs. You can find a little rock side to side, or you can be still. Come back to the intention you set for your practice. We'll finish up with a few breaths together. Inhale, open the mouth, exhale. Take a deep breath in and Good. One last inhale and just sigh it out. Ah. Good. Hug the knees into the chest, giving yourself a final squeeze, maybe a forehead to knee stretch. And then release for Shavasana. If you'd like your bolster under the knees, it's a nice way to support your low back. Otherwise, just take up some good space here. Open the arms and legs from center, palms up, toes out. Release every bit of effort, enjoying all of the peace, all of the quiet, all of the stillness within before all of the busyness and the external ensues. Shavasana.
I'ma climb my mountain, rising sun. I'ma climb my mountain in the rising sun. When I get to the top, I never will stop. It's a long way down from the higher ground. I'ma climb my mountain in the rising sun. Mama climbed her mountain in the rising sun. Mama climbed her mountain in the rising sun. When she got to the top, she never did stop. It's a long way down from the holy ground. She climbed her mountain in the rising sun. Daddy climbed his mountain in the rising sun. Daddy climbed his mountain in the rising sun. When he got to the top, he never did stop. It's a long way down from the holy ground. And he climbed his mountain in the rising sun. Buddha climbed his mountain in the rising sun. Jesus climbed his mountain in the rising sun. When they got to the top, they never did stop. It's a long way down from the holy ground. And they climbed the mountain in the rising sun. We are that mountain in the rising sun. We are that mountain in the rising sun. When we get to the top, we never will stop. It's a long way down from the higher ground. And we are that mountain in the rising sun.
Allow your breath to deepen. Let the breath inspire movements back into the body. wiggling the fingers and toes, maybe rocking your head side to side. Eventually taking a big stretch, reaching the arms and pointing the toes. And hug the knees into the chest. Rocking your way up to a seated position to close the practice. Sit up nice and tall, hands to the heart. Bow your head towards yourself in honor and gratitude for taking the time to show up to your mat. It is more important now than ever that we step onto our mats, that we step into our higher selves and commit to trusting in all that's happening around us. There's a bigger picture that we cannot yet see, but the trust will help us to stay more at peace. And these practices of yoga, of meditation, anything at all that brings you back to center are what we need to keep us grounded, to keep us stable, to keep us connected to ourselves. And the more connected we are to ourselves, the more we can be fully connected to everyone and everything else in this planet, because we're all in this together. Thank you all so much for joining and allowing me to guide you through this practice. We'll honor each other with a bow. Namaste.